This is the SAU Report, a program featuring interviews with the faculty, staff, students, and alumni of Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.
Welcome to this edition of the SAU Report. I'm Christie Roden.
And I'm Braden Harman. Our guest today is head football coach of SAU's football team, John Bland. Coach Bland, as you know, this is the spring semester, and you and your team are in its off-season. How is recruiting going so far?
Well, we've really been busy. Our coaches have done a great job of rounding up some super athletes. Three of the things that we look for when we're trying to recruit, of course, they have to be academically eligible, and that's difficult to find sometimes, but also talented football players, as well as one of the key ingredients for us, we feel like here at SAU at least, and that's a young man with character. We feel like those three right there will help us build a championship team and continue in our success and give us an opportunity to win. We feel like we've been doing pretty good. We've recruited mainly Texas, Louisiana, and the state of Arkansas. Feel real good about the guys that we've got coming in on visits, as well as we've had some commitments to come to Southern Arkansas University. It's been a challenge, like every year is. The new coaches in this league, we don't really match up in recruiting with Valdosta State and West Georgia and North Alabama and those teams, but versus the Arkansas schools, UCA, Henderson State, Ouachita Baptist, even Harding up in the north part of Arkansas, Arkansas Tech as well, and Monticello. All those teams have exceptional recruiting abilities, and their teams have just been better and better. We lose some recruits to those schools as well as win some, and so it's a challenge each year, and this year is no different than any other.
What is your sales pitch to prospective athletes when you go out?
Well, you know, when we go out on the road, our first objective is to get them here on campus. We feel like at Southern Arkansas University we've got a beautiful campus with lots of pretty trees, and after the ice storms it wasn't quite the same, and we tried to explain that to some, but we also want the parents to come here to visit with the kids. It's a tough decision for an 18-year-old. Some of them are 17, and when they come here to Southern Arkansas or any other campus, we want to show them more than just the social part of being a college student. And so we want to talk about four things, and we feel like academics needs to be number one. Although football is important, and although football is a big part of their life, and one of the reasons they're visiting Southern Arkansas and these other schools when they're in the recruiting process, and we feel like that for the most part, a very low number, a very low percentage will get paid to play football after college is over. You know, you have an opportunity to go to the NFL or the Canadian League and now the XFL and so on, different levels of football that pay players to make a living doing. You know, we feel like that's going to end more than likely for most of them when school is out, when they're done with college. So one of the things that we like to do is stress that academics needs to be number one. We feel like the NCAA has put some constraints on us in all colleges, and it has helped us because we want to tell parents that our number one objective is to get their son a college education, come out of here with a degree, and which is something that they're proud of, something they want their kid or the young man to leave Southern Arkansas with, a degree, so that they can go on and be productive in society. The other thing is, you know, we feel like when those recruits come in, we talk about how successful we are in the classroom. Not only do we have a good academic programs, and we set these players up with people, Sarah Jennings, Sonny Winnington, all of which our freshmen, normal students will get an opportunity to do. We want to make sure that the parents and the kids understand that this visit's more than just about how many football games we're going to win, but it's more about what type of education they're going to get. I think the second thing that we want to talk about is how successful they're going to have a chance to be when they, you know, when they're playing football. They're going to have a chance to play, and that's a bonus. Not only at Southern Arkansas, but the majority of Division II schools. Here at Southern Arkansas, we like to make a living out of recruiting high school players and not transfers. You know, from junior colleges or other schools. We'll take them every now and then, but majority of the time, we're going to make a living or make it a habit of recruiting high school players. We'll have them for 4 years. We feel like having a kid for 4 years is going to help us build a program, keep this thing going. So they have an opportunity, though, to compete against young people. Our depth, because of the scholarship limitations, our depth is not going to be nearly like it is at Division 1A or 1AA even. And those young men coming out of high school have an opportunity to get on the field as a freshman. And if you watched last year, and even in 97, 98, 99, we were doing real well. We had a lot of freshmen playing all those years, and last year was no exception. At one time, we had all true freshmen playing in the secondary during one ball game. So it's a challenge for those kids. They want to play. They don't want to sit and watch. And that's one of the things that we try to push. They're going to have an opportunity to play. They're also going to have an opportunity to play in the best conference in the country. The Gulf South Conference, there's not a better conference to play football in Division II. There's just not. One of the reasons I say is because we've won more national championships in this conference than any other Division II conference in the country. There's more NFL players, more talented players. You know, we got Dusty Bonner over at Valdosta State who led the SEC in passing one year. And then you got the best football player in the state of Mississippi and Josh Bryant at quarterback. We're competing against the best. They want an opportunity to compete against great athletes. It's a challenge. It's not high school. They want to make that step up. So I feel like that's important to point out, that they're going to get a chance to compete against the best that this level has to offer. So those things right there, you know, football-wise, you're going to get a chance to play. You're going to get a chance to play at a championship level. And at Southern Arkansas, I think people expect us to win now. They expect us to win every Saturday, and we're capable of beating anybody we play. And, you know, we have some people that come from winning programs in high school. They come from places where they're not used to losing. That's fine. We also have those that don't win many games in high school, all kinds. And but everybody wants to win. And so you have an opportunity to do that at SAU. The third thing that we talk about is the location of the school. We feel like Magnolia is in a prime spot, just right here, close to Texas, close to Louisiana. Also in the state of Arkansas, we have 3 states that we pull players from. Not only do we pull players from, but their marketability when they leave college with a degree just triples instead because of all the connections they make here at school. Some people come from Dallas, some from Houston, big towns. Magnolia's 15,000 people, and we all know that. It's not for everybody. So that's up to each individual. The parents, I think they like that because it tends to keep their kids or their young men out of trouble more. And we feel like that's a bonus. The last thing that we talk about is the people. And I've told this to recruits this year. I've told it to them for the past 7 that I've been here. I think the people here at Southern Arkansas, not only the football players, not only the coaching staff, but the administration, the people here in the town are special. It's a special place. And I'm sure that everywhere they visit, whether it's Arkansas Tech or Monticello, and hopefully they won't do that, but they're good people there as well. And they're not going to try to sell them by being anything different. Sometimes they do, though. And it's hard to trust on a recruiting visit. You know, is this really what it's like every day? If I come here, if I'm here for 4 years, 5 years, is this going to be, are these players going to treat me this way, this nice every day, or is this just a recruiting trip? Mm-hmm. That's something I think we sell players on, our people, and the people they meet when they're here on a visit. And I tell them this, I say, look, the people are good, that we've got good character people, they're the people I want to be around. The biggest reason that people stay, though, at Southern Arkansas is because of the people. They come because of the visit, maybe this is what they think they want to do. The reason they stay here and get a degree is because of the people they're around every day. Those 4 things, though, I feel like are our biggest selling points, and we try to cover them on a recruiting visit. It takes all day, but people have been impressed when they leave because of those. Academics, football, the location of the school, and the people that are involved in our program.
What made you decide to become a coach?
Well, my dad was a coach, and I played football since, I guess, 8th grade. He really didn't want me to play up until I was in high school, but I talked him into playing when I was in 8th grade because of the coaching experience, the coach's experience at those younger levels. Sometimes they don't teach the fundamentals of football. It can be dangerous. But I talked him into it, and but some people play since they're in 3rd grade, But I had an opportunity to play for him when I got to high school, and I don't think that's necessarily the reason I chose coaching. I've been around it all my life, and he's an exceptional coach. My dad is, and has taught me. I feel like the quality points of football. When we're talking about a lot of these kids don't have fathers. A lot of these kids, even if they do, they're away from home for the first time. And the role that I play, the role that our coaches play to these young men is so important in their life. And I feel like that was a challenge for me. I felt like I had qualities that would make a good coach, and I wanted to pursue it. So I did.
Coach, how did you end up at SAU?
Well, I don't know for sure, but I can tell you what I think. I played ball at Arkansas, and so I started making some Arkansas ties. I married a girl from Van Buren, Arkansas, Candace, and when I went to get my master's degree at Auburn University, I coached for 2 years. Me and Candace and I got married, and we lived in Tennessee, coaching high school there for 2 years, and had an opportunity when Coach Roberts got the head coaching job, and he was trying to fill his staff, and had some connections over here that gave me a call. It's not like I was on the internet each day. I don't know if he even had internet back then, but wasn't searching for a job. Some people called me. I applied for the job, and I was fortunate enough to get it.
All right.
Well, is your family supportive of your career?
Well, I've got a little girl, Shreve Bland, and of course she is supportive of whatever I do, and she's 3 years old, so it really doesn't matter what I do, just so I play with her and help her get her Barbies down off the shelf. But my wife, Candace, is my biggest supporter, and that's something that I think she knew what she was getting into, and she was very supportive of that, and she wouldn't want me to do anything other than coach football. I've talked to her other times because coaches don't make a whole lot of money, and it's a struggle at times. I've got friends that are my age that are in business and do really well, and I've talked to her about that at different times of our marriage. Should I pursue another job or an occupation? And she said, I don't want you to do anything else but coach. And so she's my biggest supporter. Win or lose, she's like another coach when I get home from ball games, from practice. She wants to know everything. She knows probably as much about the football game or in practice as anybody in the stands. And she's just my biggest supporter. And I appreciate that from her.
Sounds good. What was your reaction when you found out Coach Roberts had taken a new job at Northwestern University in Louisiana?
Well, Coach Roberts and myself have been together, for 6 years, 6 good years. We struggled. We had, an opportunity to try to build a program and to get this program going in the right direction. We had lost some football games. We were average, and then we won a lot of football games. And, he's been real good to me. I think I've been good for him as well. And we've been together longer than any other staff members here at Southern Arkansas that I've been associated with. There's been some come and go, but we stuck it out. And so it was a difficult decision for him, I know, because he enjoyed Magnolia. He enjoyed coaching at Southern Arkansas, and I enjoyed coaching with him. When he did make that decision, me and my wife, of course, had to make some decisions. Do I pursue going with Coach Roberts and making that move, or staying here and continue doing what I was doing and be an offensive coordinator and let somebody else apply for the job? I felt like we had something really special here at Southern Arkansas. I felt like Coach Roberts and myself, and Coach Roberts heading this thing up, but he allowed his coaches to get involved in every aspect of the program. And so I knew everything that was going on and how we got there and how we wanted to treat players and all the ins and outs of Southern Arkansas football. So I felt like my role now needs to be, if I have an opportunity to get this head coaching job, we can continue doing things in the way we have been, not only winning football games and competing every Saturday, but doing things right on and off the field the best that we can, recruiting quality people, character people, and young men. So I felt like that was a challenge for me, and God just gave me the opportunity. It was there, and laid it right in my lap. You know, I was happy for Coach Roberts as well, but very fortunate to still be here as the head coach.
Well, was there any doubt in your mind that you would be chosen as the new head football coach for SAU?
Well, I tell you, there's all kinds of good coaches out there, and a lot of head coaches with experience, and I had no head coaching experience. At Southern Arkansas, the way I was talking just a minute ago, and Coach Roberts allowed his coaches to get involved in every aspect of the program. I felt like I was probably more prepared to be a head coach than some of the others at bigger schools where you know, they just coach a position and that's it. I know about the weight room, I know about the academics, I know a little bit about, you know, scholarships and how to handle the administrative parts of being a head coach. So I understood some. There was some doubt. I was hoping when I applied for the job, I was hoping that I would get it, but there's no guarantees. There's so many good coaches out there, and probably could have done well hiring several people. You know, I'm glad they chose me, and but there was no guarantees there. Hopefully, they're happy.
Coach, what was your main objective as the new head coach of SAU last year?
Well, Coach Adcox has said this before. When he hired me, he wanted to keep continuity in our program. Things have been going in the right direction. You know, if it's not broke, don't fix it, and I don't think it was. I think we had to make some changes just because I had to hire some new coaches, and I want them to do what they know best. I want them to do what's best for Southern Arkansas University, but we had to make some adjustments because it wasn't the same people. Just like we had to do when our secondary coach left in '96. And then Coach Gilbert left at the end of '99. We had to make some adjustments, and I had to make several because 3 coaches left. And also, I have a different coaching style than Coach Roberts had. I have a different philosophy in some ways. So changes had to be made somewhat, but continuity is very important, and to keeping the program going in the right direction. I think that's what I wanted to do, keep that. I wanted to continue to win in football games, but it was a challenge for me to continue to recruit character people and also be a good role model for these kids, for these young men every day while they're here, so that when they leave here they can be productive in society. That's important.
What are your main objectives during this off-season?
Every off season's a challenge. You know, even if you have all returning starters, you know, if you have all returning starters with, you know, 3.8 GPAs, it doesn't matter. You're challenged every time. It's not that easy though. But you have to find people who can play, test people in the weight room, build this team, let them come together, sweat together, work hard together, on and off the field. That's in the weight room, in the classroom. There's challenges every day. I think the more players and the more student athletes that we can keep here at Southern Arkansas, and you can't keep them all happy, but we want to make this program something that they're proud of, something that they want to be a part of, and that's a challenge every year. And spring practice comes around, you know, you have other challenges. You want to see who can play, guys who are challenging for spots, guys who are working for scholarships. You always want to be able to allow those people and take care of the people that are getting the job done on Saturdays and all through the year. And recruiting's big, but the ones that are here are the ones that make a difference. And when those others get here, I'll treat them the same way.
All right. Coach, your first season ended with a record of 5-5. Do you consider a 5-5 record a successful record for a first-year head coach? And does the administration consider that a successful record also?
Well, I guess you'd have to ask them. I think, we've gone, since I've been here, we were 1-7-1. We were 4-6. We were 4-6. Then we went 9-2, 8-2, 8-2, but maybe it was 9-1, considering the forfeit, I guess. But if you're basing it on the records of those 3 seasons, no, it's not. And our players definitely don't consider that successful, and I don't want them to. If they're satisfied with 5-5, then we're not going to improve more than likely. I feel like we had a real good football team. I feel like we had just as good a team as we've had when we won a championship, conference championship in '97. I feel like our team was probably maybe a little better in some areas. Defensively that year we were real strong, but offensively we were solid in '97, but we were hands down better this year. And so it's difficult to say. I will say this, our conference, the Gulf South Conference, has never been as good as it was in 2000. And with Valdosta State going 10-1 with the best football player in the country, according to the voters. He won the Harlan Hill Award, which is the Heisman of Division II. The best football player in Mississippi, and Josh Bright, plus a national championship, winning the national championship 65-20 or something like that. It was unreal. And also, we're not even throwing in West Georgia, who went 10-1. And in all 3 of those ball games, we felt like we should have won 2 of them. And West Georgia, we had an opportunity to win that as well. So it's difficult to say by the record, and I can explain this to our players over and over again to try to keep their heads up during the season. Right now is the time, though, that they can look back and say, we are a good football team. We had a good football team. Let's don't let that happen again. Let's don't get beat in the last 30 seconds of 2 of our ball games. Let's win those football games, and we'll be in that position that Delta State was in. That's what we're shooting for. So I don't think it was a success according to the record. But then again, our football players gave great effort, and they're only going to get better.
Well, were there any key injuries to your football team this season that hindered your offense or defense?
Defensively, 2 of our standouts on defense, Marco Board and Eddie Key, both had an injury there that hampered them just a little bit. I felt like our defense played great the majority of the season. It was a new defense, and I think that was the biggest drawback, was because they were just learning that defense. I think that this spring practice will be huge for them, just because they're going to have an opportunity to learn that defense even more and go into 2-a-days with the knowledge of everything we want to do defensively. So I think we'll be more solid next year on defense. Offensively, of course, we had Tim Barrington as a quarterback, and having a senior that has played in championship games and won a lot of football games for us here at Southern Arkansas makes it easier for us. We can expand our offense. We can throw the football. We can come up with new schemes each week and not worry about losing any type of momentum we have towards being successful offensively. Tim got hurt there, and he slowed down a little bit. He was able to come back, but he missed the football game against Arkansas Tech. He also missed part of Delta State and also part of Monticello. So we had a young quarterback by the name of Ted Williams who did a good job filling in for him when he did go down, but it affected us. I think not only did it affect us, with the talent level and the way he could think and do things on the field like a coach, but also the rest of the team's confidence. I think it hurt them just a little bit. Hopefully we'll find somebody, and Ted and some other guys we're recruiting will be able to come in and fill those shoes. It'll be difficult.
Coach, we have about 10 seconds left. This may be the toughest question of the night. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl Sunday?
Well, I don't know. There's a couple of real good football teams. That's why they're there. If I had to choose, it depends on Collins and how he plays at quarterback for New York. But if he plays well, I think they'll win.
All right. Thank you, head football coach John Bland.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. This has been the SAU Report. I'm Braden Harman.
And I'm Christie Roden.
The SAU Report is a production of broadcast journalism students in the Department of Theater and Mass Communication at Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.